same-sex marriage verdict of the Supreme Court is out, and it is a 3-2 judgment. While the Supreme Court has rejected the right to marry, rejected, and I underline, rejected the right to marry, and said that given the basic separation of powers, this, that is, people from the same sex entering into marriage, is a matter not for the court to decide, but for the parliament to decide. This view comes as a huge surprise to the liberal lobby. The government, through the Solicitor General, has welcomed the verdict of the Supreme Court, saying that it balances the individual's interests with society's interest. The LGBTQ community has in part said that this is a moment of 2 steps forward, even though it's not the biggest victory that they hoped for. And my take, ladies and gentlemen, is that every citizen must have equal rights, including the right to marry. But that legislation must be the voice of Parliament. There has to be a respect to the legislative process, to the electoral mandate, to the role of the elected government of the country. In a democracy, everything can't be decided by the courts. I respect the courts and the Honorable CJI-led bench for its wisdom today, because the courts have taken an intellectual and constitutional position on a matter which is of dear faith. I have fought for gay rights. I have fought for gender rights and its equality. But I think it's time for a public debate, not dissonance on this subject. We cannot at the same time trample over cultural considerations or the voice of Parliament to deliver gay rights in its absolute. There is a process. We cannot undermine that process. We cannot keep attacking the legislative process. We cannot keep questioning the right of the executive. We cannot put every and any subject for the courts to decide on. Tomorrow, will people say the courts should decide what should be the military policy of a country? Will people say that the courts should decide what is the strategic policy or the foreign policy of the country? And I believe tonight that while many may be disheartened, putting the onus on Parliament and the centre, saying they will form a panel on it after the judiciary has pronounced its outlook, is a big step in the right direction, and one in which every pillar of democracy is functioning in unison. Ladies and gentlemen, there are the courts, but there are many pillars on which our society and our social organization operates. Ladies and gentlemen, not even one of them can be put down in favor of the other.